Hey, Cock 45 here. We're going to shoot the Beretta Nano, relatively new firearm. And as you know from your science classes, that nano means very small. And just to show you how small it is, we've placed a AR-15 223 round beside the Nano. So you can see it is a very small firearm because that's a small cartridge. Pretty good looking gun though, isn't it? Yeah, let's take a look at that. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's a 50 cal. Oh well, just minor mistake. We're not perfect. Yeah, Beretta Nano. Let's take a few shots here, and then we'll gab about it some more. How's that? All right, out of ammo. Bad. Feels pretty good. Yes, the Beretta Nano. It's a relatively small firearm. Not quite as small as you thought it was, is it though? This is again kind of a new gun from Beretta. It fits into that niche of guns that are like the, my gosh, there's a lot of them I could name. I won't name them all, but you know, the Ruger LC9, I guess, the Car PM9, and you know, the Kel-Tec, you know, some of the, just a lot of them out there at this size. A little, not the biggest gun, not as small as the little 380s, you know, the true pocket guns like the little Car P380 and the LCPs. Not that small, but it's a relatively small gun, and we'll do some comparisons for you too at some point with this thing. Now let's look at it, and let's we'll reload these mags, but let's take a look there a little bit while I'm reloading. We're shooting 124 grain ammo here, some RWS I picked up, and just thought to get a little bit heavier round than the 115 grains. I just like the way they shoot a little bit better. So it's a interesting firearm. I have shot it a little bit before today, enough to know that it seems to shoot pretty well, and I have not had any issues with it yet. Who knows what will happen today, but I've not had any hang-ups. And as you can see, it's a little different from maybe the one you've seen before. It has the Talon grips on it. This was sent to me by Derek at Talon Grips. He had to get one to fit his grips to it. You know, I like the Talon grips on a lot of my guns, especially the Glocks, and actually the XDMs too. And so he asked me if I wanted to just review it, and so he sent it to me with the rubber Talon grips on it. So I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone, kind of give you a quick look at that if you're not aware. I do get so many questions about these different grips because everybody knows I use these and see them on my firearms. And I had not looked at his rubber grips. I'd always used the granulate. That's these, you know, kind of like sandpaper, a fine sandpaper, which I like. And I had tried some of the rubber ones. I actually bought some from a different company a few years back. Didn't like them at all. And so I just, you know, I don't even want to think about the rubber grips, even in the Talon grips, which I like. But he has a different kind of rubber on his, I have to say, and that's not bad. I could live with the rubber, actually. I think I still prefer the granulate, but that's not bad. So I told him, yeah, just send it with the rubber ones on it. He had put those on it, and that way I'll try them out and shoot it, and feels pretty good, I have to say. So at some point, I guess maybe I'll switch up even on a Glock sometime with the rubber ones and just make sure that I still prefer the granulate. But I know I like the granulate. So anyway, wanted to kind of you know, show that, and I told him just leave them on the gun because they do make it feel better. I don't know what the gun feels like without them, but I know that that always gives you a better grasp, better grip on the firearm, at least for me. So why don't we just go ahead and take this thing apart and talk about it a little bit. Now, some of the things this gun has, you know, kind of interesting, are the sights are pretty easily removed, adjusted. Takes a small little Allen wrench. Now I don't have one that small. I think it's a 1.25 or something. But you just loosen the screw and you can slip the front side out and replace it with a night sight. You can adjust the rear sights the same way. You just get a smaller Allen wrench, which I don't think I have one that small yet, but it'd be that simple. and does not have a slide lock. Some of the key characteristics of it, which we're kind of used to, but apparently they wanted to make this as streamlined as possible. It's a fairly thin gun, even though the squareness of it looks a little, blocky. It's thinner than I realized. I've done a little bit of comparison with it off camera and was surprised, actually. But it doesn't have any external slide lock there, so you do have to, rack the slide with your hand, okay, which we generally do anyway. But that keeps it more streamlined and thinner. It's the slide and the frame are basically the same thickness there. So you've got a mag release that can be switched over for lefties. As I understand, you just push through that and it comes out, and then you just turn it around. And then, of course, there's nothing else, external safety or slide locks or anything that are an issue for a lefty. So you got that. And then to break it down, you punch it. Now you can just use a ballpoint pen or something. I've been using just a kind of a Glock tool. Just anything that you can push that little. Let's see, let me cock it first to show you what happens. See, it's also it deactivates the striker. So it's ready to fire, or it's empty, but it's ready to fire. So if I push that in, just a click, then that deactivates the striker. So some people don't like to pull a trigger before they break down a gun. That eliminates the need to do that, and it can act as a safety, I guess. You could push that, and then as soon as you rack it back, of course, it's back in action. But you deactivate it like that. You don't have to pull the trigger if you don't want to. See, and then you turn this little screw here, a little gizmo. I have a screwdriver, but you can just use a case about a quarter of a turn counterclockwise like this, and that releases the slide. So, and there you have it. Looks pretty familiar inside, doesn't it? Has a firing pin block, everything. So, no big surprise. A striker fired. I like striker fired firearms, and that's one of them. So, your barrel. All this has a finish, a nitrate finish, I think they call it. And they've got some kind of Pronox or something. I forget what it is now, but they've got a finish that's supposed to be very, very durable on here. It's like most of the companies have, and keep it from rusting on you, make it wear well. Notice the rails. So one thing I was going to show you in here, you punch out, I think, a couple of these pins, and this chassis, which is stainless steel, comes out. And that is the part that has a serial number on it. You can see the serial number is on the actual stainless steel chassis in there. And as I understand, they might offer down the road different frames, frame sizes, and that sort of thing. And all you'd have to do is pull that out and put a new frame in it. Insert it into a new frame. I would assume, because that's the serial number, that possibly you could just order a different frame, just like a loaf of bread. It wouldn't have to be an FFL issue. I may be wrong on that, but you just pull that out and then put you another frame on there for whatever reason that might be. Maybe they'll make a smaller frame or a larger frame or different contour. I don't know. Might be shot enough here to get dirty, right? And from what I've seen so far, and when you put it back on, you don't have to return that little screw there or anything. It just goes right back in the position. That it was designed around the .40 caliber, and so obviously it works with a 9mm rather than being designed for the 9mm and then adapted to the .40. So that's my understanding. So you probably will see it in a .40 caliber before long, and it's big enough and heavy enough. It should handle that okay. It shoots pretty nicely. I mean, it's a sweet shooter, and I would assume, and even in a .40, it's controllable. So we'll see how that goes. But it holds 6 rounds in a magazine, and 1 in the chamber, of course. You got 6 plus 1. So let's just shoot it some more before we gab too much. Got a little mag pouch here, lose these mags in it. And one thing I appreciate, I want to thank Beretta for sending me a couple of magazines, because I just had one magazine for the gun, and they sent me a couple more. So in fact, they were going to send me a Nano, but we're going to get something else from them, I think. All right, let's take a couple more shots here. All right, now it's a little gun, but we're going to try to reach out. Well, we better reach out to those 2 liters first, so we don't accidentally catch them with shrapnel. All right. Nice. Let's see where the hole on those plates. There we go. I think right on, as best I could tell. Be careful with this little gun, or I'll pull it left. Pretty nice. It shoots pretty well, I'll tell you. Let's just go ahead and put a few on the gong. Ooh, yeah, it's a pretty nice little shooter, I tell you. I think I did some weighing. It's about 3 ounces heavier than, say, the Car PM9, and so it's a little bit heavier. So it should be really well suited for the 40. But I'm assuming the 40 will be the same exact slide and everything. So this is it. Pretty nice. I tell you, it's a little deceptive. You may have had the same impression. I brought it out and shot it a couple times here and there, and I thought, that's a pretty neat little gun. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought, but it's a 9mm, yeah, and I hate to always be comparing things with my Glocks or my Car PM9, but, the PM9 is a lot smaller than this gun, and it shoots, 6 in a mag, and, you get essentially the same gun that's pretty much smaller and everything. But I got the PM9 out, and we'll do some comparison. I don't want to get too far afield here, but I got the comparing. It's really not bigger than the PM9. I mean, just barely. I mean, there's essentially no difference. It's like a hair longer, and it's really essentially the same thickness and everything. And it just, I don't know, it's an optical illusion. It seems like it's bigger. As you're looking at it, if you have a PM9, you're probably thinking the same thing. Well, man, that's like a Glock 26 or something. But it's really not. So anyway, I just thought I'd pass that along. I was surprised. Quite a difference. I thought there was a difference, but there's really not much at all. And it's got a nice grip. It feels good. It doesn't jump around much, of course, because it's a little bit heavier. So nice shooter, that's for sure. I think it's in that size category where it make a pretty good pocket gun for most people, and also a nice little holster gun. I've been carrying it in a Glock 27 holster, just stuff to stick it in. I don't have a holster for every gun I get in, of course. That's my other mag here. And, it'll ride in there okay. It couldn't necessarily do somersaults and roll around, but as long as the holster's big enough for it. But so far, I'm liking it. Now you can see some things I've not pointed out. You got your standard, trigger safety mechanism there. It's so popular now that Glock popularized. And again, very, very streamlined, very smooth. You got your 3-dot sight system, adjustable sights, and easily replaceable. What else you got there? Is just not much on it, not much hanging on it, is there? Simple to break down. Seems very reliable. I've not had any issues yet. And what else we got? It's just a nice gun. I noticed right away when I shot it the first few times that it seems to be pretty easy to shoot well. I've shot it very little, and I know these targets are not like shooting at golf balls or anything when I'm shooting a 2-liter, but that's easy to miss at whatever that is, 18 yards or something. So let's just shoot some more and play a little bit. All right, let's get our ears on. Doesn't have a silencer on it. Maybe that'll come with the next model, the Nano 0.1 or something. All right, well, let's just try a couple of animals. We're not going to try to roll a bunch of animals because of be here all day with 6-round magazines. Let's just see. Mr. Piggy wants to fall if we hit him. All right. That ram is set hard. I'll put one on. Yeah, throwing them all over the place there. Okay. Sometimes, if you'll notice, I have more trouble hitting those rams because I just don't even take any time on them. Just assume I can pop them. Let's move the other pig. Okay. Okay, throwing bullets. We're gonna get him. Told you. Okay. I just refuse to let him beat me. Okay. We'll put some more in here. Where's my mag? There it is. These are 124 grain rounds again, and they seem to shoot pretty well. Of course, it's all in the gun, mostly. All right, yeah, pretty good little gun. I can see why there's so much talk about it, and why it seems to be pretty popular. I'm not really sure at this point how widely available it is. I don't recall seeing it in the shops I've been in lately. To tell you the truth, it's probably being scarfed up pretty quickly. I don't know how you know, many they're making, or if it's if there's an availability issue or not. So I'm just glad to have 3 magazines now with this one. Let's well, let me take just a couple more over there. That turkey is being a smart aleck. He doesn't want to fall even when I hit him. Let's go to one of the turkeys down the next row. Got to see a turkey fall. Gotta hit him first. Gotta hit him. Yeah, nobody wants to fall even when I hit them. Okay. I'll quit fooling around with the hunting. I don't think the Beretta means for this to be a hunting gun, you know. I can never resist. I need to shoot it some. I'm beginning to get a feel for how I need to hold the gun, the grip on it. With my large hands, any small gun is a little bit more of a challenge. I've got to figure out what the best hold is, because I have to really adapt to the gun. That's just life with large hands and being 6'8". And of course, especially when you're trying to shoot at 70, 80 yards, you know. But with a gun designed for arm's length distance, you know. All right, let's try it over here where we're supposed to be shooting. All right. Let's see how it does. Now I've got a holster. This holster is again, it's for a Glock 26. So, but it'll ride in there. Actually, this is a holster a fellow sent me from. Let's see, Hidden Hybrid Holster. It's another one of those types that I like, and I've been wearing it for a few days. Feels pretty good. All right, that's what this gun's for. I'll tell you what, I've got to try that turkey again, though. What is wrong with him? Got him. Finally on the last round. I tell you what, I was about to run over there and kick him over, because he usually goes down with a 9mm, whatever you throw at him. You know, he's not quite as heavy as the other turkeys. For those of you who don't know, we'll do another range tour video one of these days and give you some close-ups on that. He's I don't know, he's not even 3/8 inch. I'm not sure how thick he is. Those ones that are down on the second row are a little bit thicker, and they're heavy. It's understandable why they don't fall unless they're set right. All right, we'll shoot a few more times. The Beretta Nano hasn't been out all that long, and I'm glad to get my paws on one and try it out, because I like these little guns. You know me, if you've been around the channel long, a small gun that shoots well is an attractive piece of hardware to me. I guess I like, and I recommend, if you're looking for a carry gun, you know, the smallest gun that's in a big enough caliber that you shoot well is I think always a highly recommended firearm. Okay. Oh, we got some closer targets here. Let's just take some of these guys out, maybe. Nice. Nice, nice. Wow. Dramatic. Yeah, at the ranges the gun's designed for, I tell you what, there's no problem. Let me try, see what these 124 grainers do on that shooting tree. Okay. I don't know, you know, it could be that this RWS ammo is really not all that hot. I don't know. But I've shot it off and on here and there. It seems to be reliable and works, but maybe it's not the velocity may not be quite as high on it as some other ammo that we've shot. So what else can I tell you about this? It's a pretty cool little gun, and it has a good feel. It looks a little odd maybe to you. That was my first impression. Kind of a strange looking gun, but the grip feels good, and you know, and it works. It's been 100% reliable with everything we've shot through it. I haven't done it on camera, but I shot some hollow points through it, and it did fine. 147 grain hollow points from Georgia Arms, and they were really knocking the tree around. It looked like I was hitting it with a 45, and so I've tried hollow points in it. We'll do that maybe on in a video. And 115 grain ammo, and this is 124, and 3 or 4 different types of ammo without any kind of hiccups with any of the magazines. So that's number one right there, the reliability. That's number one, and then everything else seems to be in order. So far, I'm impressed. I'm not used to not having a slide lock, but it's not a big deal in a gun like this. It's not a big deal. I can easily get used to that. In fact, I may carry this some. I kind of like it. Cool little gun. So, Beretta Nano, my first look at it, and life's pretty good.